to Newsmakers. I'm your host, Lisa Oligas. In this edition, we focus on the AAUW, the American Association of University Women. The organization was founded in 1881 with a goal of advancing equity for women and girls through advocacy, research, and education. A university chapter is in the works to begin here at Missouri Southern State University at a time when membership in the organization could experience a significant change. Joining us to discuss all these aspects of AAUW are the incoming Missouri AAUW President, Sue Shineman, and the Director of College and University Relations for AAUW Missouri, Deborah MacArthur. Ladies, thanks for making Newsmakers part of your visit while you're in Joplin from Kansas City, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for stopping in and talking with us. So AAUW, the American Association of University Women, as its name would indicate, for decades has been comprised of college women, university women. There is a vote underway nationally to change that, to include those who don't necessarily have degrees. Sue, what's the reason for that?
Because we are very much into diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when we discriminate or we do not allow members to join who have not received a college degree, that is not being very inclusive. Mm-hmm. So we want to tie our mission and our vision to our action. So we want to live out what our mission is.
And there certainly may be women who have not had degrees who want to support other women in education, who may be successful, rightfully so, without having gone to college, or men who might want to support those degrees, the mission of equity. So talk to us a little bit about the history of the organization. It started in 1881. Tell us what has it accomplished over these years, and how it's been so long-lived.
I will tell you a very quick little anecdote. Early on, after the organization was founded in 1881, it was in 1885 that a group of women got together and they did a research project, which AAUW does a lot of research projects. Yeah. This particular research was to determine that truly women's brains were not affected by the degree that they have received that would prevent them from being a mother. So your brain does not, enriching your brain does not mean that you're going to be infertile, which that was one of the funniest things to me
That's a crazy research.
That's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but in all that time, I mean, when we talk about advocacy, let's talk about some of the changes for rights for women that AAUW has backed and why that's important.
Equality, pay equity, those are the two biggest things. We still advocate for women in higher education or now in certificate programs, that kind of thing, that we want women in leadership positions. We want women at the table in the boardrooms, because we know when women vote and women have an input, big changes happen.
So some of the changes in historically, like 1945, you mentioned at the meeting. Tell us what happened then. And it's been some long time strides to try and even get close to equal pay, which still isn't really there, is it?
We are not there. A white male will earn $1 compared to a white female who earns 80 cents on the dollar, which can make a huge discrepancy, not only right out of the gate, coming out of college, but when we get to our retirement years and women live longer, women have higher student loan debts, it's much more difficult for women to keep their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And leave that $400,000 on the table over the course of their career.
Yeah. And so one of the things that's often mentioned is Title IX. How does that make a difference, and how is it often misinterpreted?
I'll let Deborah take that.
Talk to us about Title IX and how people misconstrue. They think it's all about sports, but it isn't necessarily.
Well, it's partially about sports. I mean, when I was in high school, women couldn't compete in interscholastic sports. It just wasn't done.
Right.
And then about the time I graduated from high school, they passed Title IX. And it's like, wow. What it means is that a student cannot be discriminated against or denied access to programs because of gender. And that's why sports was so important. It meant that schools now had to offer women's sports as well as men, but it also protects the female students from discrimination in other ways. A pregnant student has rights that she might not have had before Title IX. So, and rights to speak out about sexual harassment on campus. So those things are very important to AAUW. We have always been a strong proponent of Title IX and have been at the forefront with our opinions on changes to Title IX through the years and proposed changes.
So do you have lobbyists, so to speak, or how do you try and influence maybe lawmakers? And are there things on the national front that AAUW is even currently fighting for?
Yes, we do have a lobby corps in Washington, D.C., and they lobby on Capitol Hill regularly. They're very highly respected with the legislators and congressmen there. A couple of things that are on the forefront right now are women's health, reproductive health rights. We have also been very actively supporting not banning books in the libraries, which is mostly Missouri right now, I believe, but also nationally. Those are two of the things that are fairly new on the horizon for us.
So yeah, you are the incoming president for the Missouri chapter of AAUW. So are there, banning books is one of the Missouri issues. Are there other Missouri issues that AAUW is looking at closely?
The initiative petition, the Citizens Initiative petition that we are working very strongly to keep that so that citizens can move forward with initiative petitions.
So Deborah, talk about how does AAUW benefit the community at large? I mean, why did you want to be part of this organization?
It's important to me. I have a daughter. I'm worried about her future. I'm thinking about my own. I, was in higher education for many years. I watched as male colleagues were hired at salaries much higher than my own. I learned a lot personally through our Work Smart program and successfully negotiated a pay raise for myself from what I learned from being involved with that program. So I see the importance of AAUW's work. I see the impact that we can have on people in our community and protecting the rights of all of us. Okay.
So how many chapters are there in Missouri? Because Missouri, Joplin has a chapter. So how many chapters are there, and how does that sort of that operation work when you have a local chapter and then state chapters?
We have 16 currently. We have approximately 480 members. And during COVID, we were able to become even closer because of Zoom, which was a true blessing. Really? For many organizations, the state organizations like AAUW. Because with 16 branches across the state, each one was kind of a standalone. But when we were able to meet on Zoom with all of our members and committees, we really grew a lot during that time.
That's excellent. So it's a dues-based group. How are those funds used? Tell us about, when you do pay dues to an organization like this.
So the dues that are paid to the state organization, they pay for some of the operating expenses, training, our state meeting, when we train different committee chairs and present leadership opportunities for others.
So you mentioned training, Deborah. What are some of the training opportunities through AAUW that can be helpful for women to empower them?
AAUW has long had a focus on economic equity for women and girls. And so we have two programs that have to do with gender pay equity. One is Start Smart, which is focused at college women and helps them learn how to negotiate salary and benefits as they transition from college life into their professional careers. What questions to answer in an interview, what questions not to answer, how to tactfully not answer those questions in order to get the highest possible salary for themselves.
Yeah.
Work Smart is the same type of program, but it's for women who are already established in their careers. And then we have a new program called Money Smart that is a kind of a financial literacy program to help women learn how to balance their budgets and live within their means, pay off those student loans if that's what they need to do, and save for the future, and best manage things for their families.
Excellent. Well, I know you also raise funds for scholarship programs, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll talk about that and proposing a university chapter in just a moment. And when we come back, we will discuss bringing that AAU chapter to the university. But first, a look at how students get support from the local chapter of the AAUW. The American Association of University Women is on a mission. Women supporting other women through 3 primary campaigns.
To promote gender equity, of course, to promote higher education for women, and to give women the job skills and interview skills that they need to be successful.
Diane Reed Adams is president of the Joplin chapter of the AAUW. An endowed AAUW scholarship was created in the name of Dorothea B. Hoover in 2018. But the financial support for women who want to go to college started as far back as 1968. Then it was a patron scholarship for $125. Executive Board member Marge Boudreau says the group has been tracking scholarships since the 1980s.
We've awarded 33 since we started in 1986. And sometimes there'll be 2 in a year because half of the first semester and then second semester. And we used to raise our funds with an auction where we actually brought things, had a live auction. It was always enjoyable. But as the years have progressed, and I suppose COVID kind of shut things down for sure, we decided to do a no-show auction and raise funds that way.
The no-show auction letter campaign involves current members reaching out to others who they hope consider supporting the organization, which supports women fulfilling educational dreams. This expands the support network to men and non-university women. A recent national vote to open AAUW membership to all didn't pass, but Boudreau says there's real evidence that a donation to the organization makes a difference through the scholarship program.
The thanks that we get are really very important. Some of them are single mothers and are trying to work a job, and our scholarship makes it possible for them to go to school. I know one of the students that we helped went to work for a couple of companies until she ended up at Mercy when they were building the hospital, and she was project manager for that. So that was a big something that she could not have achieved without her education. Another one has told us that she's so delighted because she's always wanted to be a teacher, and she wants to give back to the community in that way. She loves teaching and she loves the idea. But again, she was stymied because she couldn't continue without some help in her junior year.
One scholarship requirement is being an upper-level student.
So you have to be a female, and you have to be a junior or a senior pursuing a professional degree. So basically any degree, planning on entering the professional arena after graduation. And you have to have a GPA of 2.75 or higher.
We want to grow our presence in the community and encourage people to support our scholarship program. We give a scholarship every year, or a partial scholarship, to a female student at Missouri Southern. When we first started this program about 40 years ago, tuitions were much lower than what they are now. So we're having a hard time raising the money to fund a scholarship, which we think is really important. But if we had more people helping us out, getting our message out, or even contributing to our fund, that would help.
Well, I think scholarships in general are needed because school can be cost prohibitive to some people, and the power of an education is really important, and knowing that you can go further in your career, you can provide for your family, maybe you have children, and that makes it hard to hold down a job, especially if you're going full-time to school, to get a lot of hours and pay for tuition and other means. So scholarships like this can make or break someone's career in education, or in their education.
The scholarship program is what keeps Boudreaux in the organization, which hopes to expand onto the MSSU campus with a university chapter of AAUW.
A lot of them may be our scholarship recipients. So I think they need that connection, but then they also need the information that we can provide, such as the fact that a woman and a man sitting next to each other in a college classroom earning the same grades will have different opportunities. She will only expect to earn 83% of what he earns in their professional lifetimes. So they need that information because it will help them fight for gender equity. I'm a nationally certified trainer for the AAUW Work Smart program, which teaches young women how to ask for a job, how to ask for a promotion, and how to ask for a raise.
It doesn't affect me now because I'm retired, but the pay gap between men and women is just ridiculous, ludicrous.
Current leaders and members hope the college campus will usher in the next generation of the AAUW.
Yeah, well, I hope that other younger women will also have the vision of helping women with their education, with not just getting a diploma, but also educating them in the opportunities that they have and encouraging them. And so it's really an encouraging organization to be in. But I hope that younger women will take up the challenge and enable it to continue.
Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we are in conversation with AAUW state officials. Here again are Sue Shinneman, the incoming president of Missouri AAUW, and Deborah MacArthur, who handles college and university relations. So I want to talk about scholarships, which we sort of went into. You raise funds, and you have separate funds from dues. This is not what the dues pay for. You raise funds, and you help create scholarships. How important is the scholarship program to AAUW?
The Fellowships and Grants program is extremely important to AAUW. That money is donated by members, by friends, supporters, corporate support. And over the course of, I can't remember how many years, 13,000 scholarships have been presented to women, totaling $135 million. Just this past year, we presented $6.1 million to 130 students.
So it helps women to achieve their dreams, or to better their lives.
Yes. And these women that get the grants, they apply. There's, I don't know, six or eight different grants that they can apply for, or fellowships. And it's amazing that what areas they go into that AAUW can help support them, which will take them to the next level of their career.
And then there's scholarships even for undergraduate students as well. And we have some here at Missouri Southern. So let's talk about that whole idea of giving those women scholarships and approaching university women. So there is a plan to maybe bring a university chapter here. Deborah, how does that work? How do we start a chapter here at Missouri Southern?
Well, a student chapter is formed when college becomes a partner member with us. And that's where we're at right now. Missouri Southern is prepared to sign on to be a university partner with AAUW. And when they do that, then that means that their students can join for free. There's no cost to them to join. We go on campus, we talk to young women, we tell them about the issues that AAUW supports, and those issues are the same issues that our young women are interested in. They're interested in voting rights, in human rights, in reproductive rights, gender pay equity, and all of those things let those women go, wow, this is where I need to be. And so by having one of our regular members on campus who then can sponsor that student group, those young women can become a force on their own campuses, and they do activities. They do fun activities, they do service projects, they do visibility activities, things like Sexual Assault Awareness Week. They may do some sort of a program. They may sponsor campus movies, things like that to bring women's issues to the forefront on their campuses.
And you said it's issues that interest them, but is it important to reach women at this age when they are still in the education area but haven't maybe hit that workforce yet to prepare them for the workforce?
I think that it's really important for them because eventually they're going to, as they go into that career, they're hoping for leadership positions. You know, a lot of the pay gap is driven by the fact that women often lack the opportunities for promotion and higher levels of achievement in their career fields where the bigger money is. So for them to gain leadership skills, we offer a program every year called the National Conference for College Women Student Leaders. It's a big training that takes place in Washington, D.C. area. This year we have about 500 women who are already enrolled for that. And it helps them gain confidence and courage, the ability to step up, to speak up for what's right, to express themselves, and to self-promote as it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's often been called the glass ceiling,
Right.
but have we broken through that, and what does it take to get through that? Does it have to take a group effort, or can we see individuals making strides?
Well, you know, obviously with a pay gap of about 17%, and gosh, for different ethnic groups, that pay gap is much larger than that national average. For a disabled woman, the pay gap is about 49%.
Wow.
So just having the knowledge of that and then gaining confidence in order to be able to negotiate salary and to advocate for oneself, that's tremendous. And at that age between 18 to 21, when women are beginning to actually find out who they are, we think it's really important.
So do university chapters ever pursue different issues from the national organization, or are they usually all well aligned?
Student organizations need to be student-led. And so the women in that group may decide what kind of activities they want to do. You know, their faculty advisor is probably going to kind of gently nudge them along the areas that are kind of mission-based things with AAUW. But what we really want to do is to keep that fresh for them and keep that name AAUW something that they connect with, something that's positive from their experience, so that maybe 10 years from now, once they're settled, maybe they've had some kids, whatever, they may go, wow, you know, I'd like to join that organization again.
And support it, and support other women in college. With more women in the workforce, I mean, even than like decades ago, is it harder to maintain members? I mean, women are working. Do they have time to be part of the organization? And are there opportunities to do that maybe without always going to meetings? I mean, are you having to adapt with the changing society?
We definitely need to adapt, and we are adapting because, like you said, with younger members, they're working. When I joined some 50 years ago, I wasn't working, and so meeting times didn't matter. But now we want the involvement, we want the expertise of the younger generation, and we do have to make changes, and we are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot to gain because they're in the workforce, and they are the ones probably having the inequity in pay. So it would be nice to have them as members to voice those things.
And in advocating for them it helps us tremendously to know exactly what do they need for us to advocate for.
Excellent. So what would you say is AAUW's greatest achievements thus far?
Oh my goodness. Right now I would say the fellowships and grants. We are the world's largest organization that provides scholarships in that magnitude.
And then when it comes to legislation for equal pay, you've mentioned a couple of those at the meeting. Are we there? Are they still, is there one maybe, you said one passed the House, but it's still sort of sitting?
Yes, that is still sitting there, and that's the Paycheck Fairness Act. So
what's its focus? The
paycheck fairness. Yes, equal pay for equal work. So that's what we've been focused on all along, and we will continue to focus on that. Every opportunity that we get, we keep promoting that we need this passed.
I mean, women have been trying to qualify for the same jobs. Is there something also to be said about, you mentioned like looking back at your qualifications? Is that not sometimes taken into account, and women may not get the pay they deserve if they're doing the same job, maybe have better backgrounds than even their cohorts?
Yes, and if it's just because of being a female versus being a male. And unfortunately, years ago, it was the male was the breadwinner, and now that's not necessarily the case, because women in almost 50%, it's almost equal now that women are breadwinners or co-breadwinners, and still the pay is not the same.
All right, not aligned. Well, how can someone donate to AAUW if they wanted to say, hey, I want to support your scholarship programs and efforts like that?
So there's various ways. The branch level, depending, they can support the branch level scholarships, and most of those are high school scholarships going to a college, students going to a college. They can support nationally, and that is not specifically to the Fellowships and Grants program, but to our Greatest Needs program. And those funds then are used for specific things that come up throughout the year, or next week. We have this on the horizon, that those funds can be used so that AAUW can make a big contribution in different areas that affect women.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you for stopping by and sharing your wisdom with us about AAUW.
Thank you.
And that wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. Thanks to our guests, the state officers with the Missouri AAUW, and thank you for watching.